For 2 years straight, I woke up with no new followers. I was posting every single day, and I had been for 600 days, and I had only grown to 600 followers total. I had a message that I wanted to be able to share with the world. I had a business that I wanted to help people with and make money from, and I had a life that wanted freedom, but I couldn't do any of that without growing my followers first. It was that frustration that then took me into looking at the best personal brand, the personal brands that I call one-of-one personal brands, and started studying what they were doing instead of what the Instagram gurus were telling us to do. And that's the reason I'm making this video today, because what I learned from the best, the one-of-one personal brands, the one-of-one brands, gave me a 4-part strategy that I implemented in my own personal brand and business for the past 2 years. That's helped me grow from 600 followers and posting into the void with no one listening to being able to build multiple in-person events, grow an audience of 25,000 people, and a business that gets happy, consistent clients. So like I said, this video has 4 steps for you to get you unstuck, basically. And you'll find that this is going to be a very different video to most of the Instagram or content creation gurus. You'll find that we're very different from them, but we'll get more into that as the video progresses. So without any further ado, this is how you're going to grow an audience of your people this 2026. Okay, so like I said, 4 things to go over, and I'm going to go through those 4 in just a second. You can probably see them timestamped below because I want you to kind of come back to this video, bookmark this video, and use it as your basis for everything that you build on top of this, right? But first of all, I want you to look at the first mindset shift that I learned, which is actually step number 0. It's something that I've picked up over the past 2 years, speaking, becoming friends with some of the best creators in the space, best creator founders, people who run businesses as well as posting content successfully. And the main mindset shift there is that you need to stop looking at the goal as gaining followers and instead start looking at it as building an audience. All right, I learned this the day that me and a friend of mine ran our first in-person event. We were in London, we came to London, and we put up a few pictures on our story. It was very low effort for the first one, and we just invited people to come and join us for the day to have a little mastermind speaking about exactly this type of stuff. I had about 10,000 followers then, and I felt like I was out of place to be throwing an event that big for only an audience of 10,000 people, but we ended up getting, I think it was like 23 people to show up from an audience of 10,000 people across the entire world. 10,000 is not many people. I know your goal is probably 10,000 and it's probably a good goal to kind of set, but 10,000 is not much in the grand scheme of things. We had 23 people show up that day, which is huge. But it clicked to me that moment that the ratio of people that showed up for my audience was much bigger than some of the bigger creators that I knew. And the reason being is that I focused on building an audience rather than building a following. So that's why everything in this video is about quality and connection and depth and resonation of the people that come across your content and how you come across. Right up here, I have a flag behind me that says one-of-one. That is what I've built my entire brand, business around. If you want to build a one-of-one personal brand, I'm the person to subscribe to. My name's Seth, Lloyd, by the way. I haven't introduced myself yet, but it comes from being someone that is unlike anyone else. And the best thing is about this, if you don't already realize this, you are that person already, right? Because you have lived a life that nobody else has lived. Out of the 127 billion people that have lived on the earth, no one has lived the life that you have lived. So going through this process and building a one-of-one brand is all about using the unique set of past experiences that you have that allow you to help people in a way that nobody else can because you're one-of-one. That is exactly what I have done to grow my audience. Because if I boil it down, yes, I have 4 steps for you, which I am going to get into. I apologize for not going into it yet. But if I had to boil my success and my failure down to one thing, the reason my account wasn't growing is because I was like everybody else. I was like everybody else. I looked like everyone else. I was making the same content as everybody else. And I wasn't being me. So we're going to get into these 4 steps, and they're all focused around building a one-of-one brand. Okay, so getting into step number 1. It's gonna sound obvious, but to grow followers, you need to be followable. But this is where I'm gonna be a bit different to the content gurus. I'm not gonna tell you to post trends because someone might click the follow button once and think, oh, that was a fucking cool trend, and I'm gonna follow you now. Because those followers don't turn into an audience, they just turn into people that click the follow button once. It doesn't mean anything. So, to become followable, people need to look at you like a leader. People need to follow you to a destination. Sounds a bit weird, sounds a bit creepy, but it's actually much more normal when you think about it in terms of content. If you look at some of the best creators, if you look at Alex Hormozi, if you look at Daniel Dalen, if you look at, just imagine your best creator right now, like your favorite creator in your mind, and most likely they're running some sort of a business as well, they're monetizing heavily. They have done some sort of a series which is documentation focused, i.e. they have a goal and they're showing their progress towards that goal. This is exactly what I mean by being followable. For someone to actually follow you, I want you to look at it from the human nature. To follow someone, you need to be going somewhere. You, as the creator, as the creator founder, you need to be heading somewhere for someone to be able to follow you. Like right now, I'm trying to build one of the best products in the creator economy because I know that my past self would have benefited from it hugely. So I'm trying to build a program of the one of one to help creator founders use their unique set of past experiences to help people in a way no one else can through their content and through their business. I'm currently documenting the process of doing this on my Instagram, and it builds a journey. So that's the tip for this first point, build a journey, become followable, and show yourself as a leader. Show yourself living what you sell, living what you preach, living your beliefs, living your one-of-one life, and being one-of-one. Very early on in my successful part of my social media journey, I started to realize that what I was told about content was wrong. I started to realize that the people who were doing it differently were succeeding. And I started to realize the people that were succeeding were doing it differently, right? Looking at the one part of this as hooks, looking at the zooming in at the most commonly spoken about topic of social media hooks. If you go to the post office, if you go to speak to your grandma, she's going to know about hooks. Everybody knows about hooks. I used to go back and see my old friends and I would speak to them about my journey on social media, and they'd be like, oh yeah bro, you just got to nail down the hooks, man. That's what social media is about. I'm like, yeah bro, cool. Everyone knows about that. And that's the problem. If you look at Daniel Dalen, if you look at Alex Hormozi, if you look at, again, imagine your favorite creator, they're not using hooks. They're just saying interesting things. And that sounds like a really arbitrary response and change and a shift in terms of what you're doing, but stop using hooks. Just say interesting things. And I'll put this in context. I remember getting and downloading a list of 100 different hooks from my favorite Instagram guru every single month, and would just spend the next couple months using them and rinsing and repeating them, and literally just seeing other people use the exact same set of words with just the X changed or just the niche changed, and that was it. It was the exact same set of words. I started to realize that, and it's why are people drawn to a specific set of words? It doesn't really make sense. What happens if I change one of the words? Am I going to break the hook? Is it not going to work? It's no, not really. So then I started to stop using these template hooks and just started to say interesting things. And honestly, that is when my Instagram account started to grow. I have one of my videos on my account which is just say the hook is, the opening of the story is just fuck hooks. And that has been one of my most successful videos because it was interesting. And I actually have a 4-step process of breaking down what interesting means that I want to teach you right now, so that you can craft openings to a story in your content. So you can craft an interesting statement that gets people to start listening and then not stop listening because of the story that you tell them. Okay, I'm going to get into it. So the first part of this is being one-of-one. Yes, again, building a one-of-one personal brand. You need to start your videos with being one-of-one. Of course, that makes so much sense. So how do you actually do that? In simple terms, for the hook, being one-of-one means saying things that nobody else can say. If you look back at the start of this YouTube video, I started this video with a story that no one else could say. This was my exact story. I described it from my unique set of past experiences. I told you how I felt. I told you how it was going. And a YouTube hook is a bit obviously longer than an Instagram hook, but I told you a story that no one else could say. So that's the first part of hooks, being one-of-one. But the second and the third part of hooks I need to explain together. They come as a pair, and it's curiosity and it's direction. They're on the same coin, but they're the opposite sides of that same coin. The fourth step is who we create interest for, which we'll wrap it all up in a second, but first we need to explain your curiosity and direction. You need to create enough mystery and intrigue in what you're saying, where someone doesn't know exactly where it's going to end up, but at the same time balance the fact that they could predict roughly where it's going to end up and choose if they want to watch the video. So I could have maxed out my curiosity stats at the start of this by just opening a bunch of questions and a bunch of stuff that's going to make you really, really hyper interested, but you're not going to watch for very long because you're going to start getting a picture that you don't think that I'm going to deliver on what I'm saying. I'm just opening curiosity loops and questions for the sake of curiosity. And that's really not that good. So you need to balance that. You need to kind of like get 50, you know, on a scale of like 100 to 0 of curiosity, you need to get like a 50 kind of a level, right? And then balance it out with 50 on the other side, which is direction. So at the same time when people are mysterious and curious about where something's going to go, we roughly need to know where it's going to head and going to end up, so we can choose if we want to watch the video. Like, you chose and clicked on this video specifically because I spoke about posting every single day, not growing followers, and it implies something about growing your brand, growing as a creator, your personal brand. That's the direction. So you know where it's going. You can consciously choose if you want to watch that. And I want you to consciously choose. Brain rot TikToks will not make you consciously choose. They will be just full of curiosity because they don't give a fuck really about you as a person. I do. I want you to watch, and I want you to stick around, and I want you to use what I'm speaking about and to become one of what. That is part of my personal mission and my brand mission, right? So curiosity and direction. Those two play on the opposite sides of the same coin to get you interested. Now, the fourth step of this, to wrap it all up, is interest is subjective. I find things interesting differently to how you find things interesting. So the way I want you to look at it is it interesting to the past version of you? Will you find it interesting? Will the past version of you find it interesting? Who are you speaking to? Are they going to find it interesting? I make these videos for the past version of me that I was speaking about at the start of this video. The person who was waking up every single day with 1 or 0 new followers, trying so hard, trying to build a business, trying to post content and not growing. That's who I make my videos for. I know that this topic of hooks is going to be very interesting to Seth when he was 16 or 17, right? That's the final step. Be one of one, make it curiosity filled, make it directional, but also make it interesting. So apply these first 3 steps to the one person you're speaking to that ICP, to the dream follower, the person that you're trying to help. Apply one of one, so even the way that you tell your story, the direction and the curiosity to that one person. That's how you can create interesting stories and create interesting openings to the stories that act as amazing hooks. Number 3. Okay, I like this one. My step 3 and my step 4 are going to link together really well. So just listen to what I'm saying now, hear me out, and it'll wrap up and it'll all come like as a like crescendo at the end. And I promise this is going to become very clear. So step number 3 comes in a way where I don't want you to just go and create regurgitable, valuable content. I don't want you to Google 3 best tips for putting on muscle and post a video about it, because it's not useful. I want you to create useful content where you share your insights, where you use your unique set of past experiences to provide value to people in a way that they've never seen before. Can you provide value to a past version of you because of your unique set of past experiences that nobody else has heard, right? This is where insights come from, right? You can start looking at the difference between a how-to video, which is like best practice, like how to tie a tie is very generic, anyone can say that, versus how I did something different, like X. What is X for you? For me, it was grow my following, like how I did it. It's an insight, it's different, right? To then, how to grow your following in 2026. It's very broad, it's very generic, and it's less useful, right? I can make my videos more targeted. I can tell more specific stories because my value is more useful to the past version of me. And that's how I want you to attack value content, is to genuinely get your past self unstuck. What would you need to tell them? How would you need to shift their beliefs? What would you need to get them to do? All right? Use these things. In a YouTube video, you can put a bit more time in there, go into a little bit more depth, but in a 60-second video or a short form piece of content, focus on like the mindset shifts, focus on the insights, share what you've done, right? So step number 3 is solve problems for your ICP, the person that you want to buy from you, your ideal customer profile. Solve problems for that person, which is also the past version of you. Well, let's bring it back a little bit. Okay, so part number 4 is where everything starts to wrap up again. Wrap up together, it brings this whole content strategy back to the core principle of being one of one. So step number 4 is be personal. And this is going to help you improve each of these steps we spoke about before, especially step number 3. It's going to wrap it all up. I'm going to get there again. So step number 4 is be personable. Be connection, build a deeper trust with people, right? Be someone people like, build likability, right? People need to like you. And why this is so useful is because what you can do when you build a brand focused on who you are and relating to people as they are, just building personal trust, likability, and resonance, you build an audience of people that listen to you because they like you. They think you're in the same situation as them and they relate to you, or maybe they related to the past version of you and now they're looking at you as someone that's further ahead, a bit of a leader, right? And this is so important because it means that your value becomes more valuable. Step number 3 that we were talking about, where you are solving problems for them. They will listen to you because they already know you, they already like you, and they already trust you. It's the same way that you'd ask a friend for advice more than you just go and ask a stranger. You can create content that is about who you are and the personality that you have, which we call top of funnel content. It's broader, it's more general to like a broader amount of people. And then we can create middle of funnel content, which helps people solve problems, where you solve problems for the person that you've attracted at the top here. If you are consistently speaking to the past version of you, all of these people will be qualified and part of your people. They will be your audience. You will speak to them and you will connect to them through the stories that you tell. So create content that shows your personality, the missions that you'll run, the stuff that you're going through that is outside of your niche, but inside your life. These 4 steps will help you build a one-of-one brand, literally one of one, like unlike anybody else's. This will help you grow a bigger audience, connect with more people, grow more comments and engagement, generally build a community, but also help you make more money in your business. Speaking about making more money with your business, I want you to be careful on that topic in terms of content. There's a slippery slope between creating content that is selling people and creating content that makes people want to buy, right? Watch this video up here and I will go deeper into that topic and how I've been on both sides of the coin and how one has burnt me and how one has helped me thrive and grow my audience even more. Thank you for watching. I've been Seth Lloyd. This is One of One. I will see you in this video to continue the mission of becoming unlike anybody else and pursuing the things that only you